I'd like to call where are we, September 18th, 2025, Montecito Board of Architectural Review consent calendar to order. We have two items today. Item number 197 Tiburon Bay. Is there anybody here for that, please? Yes, please come up. Okay, so Rob, did you have a chance to look at these?
I we're fine.
I thought that they were fine too. So I don't know that there's any thank you for coming, but we will recommend approval. The full board is the one that actually grants the approval, not us, but we will recommend approval for whatever it is, final.
Yeah, I thought it was within the context of your reservations. I thought it was nicely done.
Yeah. Okay, good. So if you want to stay, you can. If you don't, enjoy yourself. Okay, item number 2664 Oak Grove. Is there anyone here for that? Dylan or somebody else, please? What? Okay, so Rob, do you have any comments about this?
Yeah. So it's consent. So I wasn't here for the evolution of this. I will say fundamentally there were some things that I like the separate walkway to the front door, and
Can
I
you
liked,
get the landscape plan or the
yeah,
site plan or something? Dylan, are you with us?
yeah. Do we have a site plan per
Hey
se?
guys, I'm here.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Fundamentally, there's a lot of things that I thought I liked, and we're done well. I always struggle when I drive up to a project and the focal point is the garage doors. But so there's some little things like that or that's a big thing. But I think it's fine. Overall it's complete, and certainly don't want to hold it up.
So you're good with it. Okay, can we go to the roofing material, please? Dylan, my understanding of this material is it's probably a shiny finish. And are you familiar with the company Steel Case that also makes roofing material?
No, but is that a preference you have?
Well, about a year, maybe even coming in on 2 years ago, we had a neighbor that came and addressed us and was very concerned that his neighbor's roof had something other than a matte finish. And since that time, we've asked every single applicant that wants a metal roof to make it a matte finish. And so I'm ready to approve this with the caveat that you provide another roofing product, manufacturer, exact specification, color, etc., that has a matte finish on it. One company that I do know of is called Steelcase. There are others. We don't have a preference, but if you wanted to get started with Steelcase, I think you can see what it is that they have to offer. And we can do that as approval with the planner in consultation with myself. Okay?
That sounds great. We have no problem with that. We don't want a reflective roof either, so.
Well, what you've got now is a reflective roof, I think. I went on out, looked at the manufacturer's cut sheets, and I didn't see anything anywhere in their website that said that it was a matte finish. And quite frankly, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. And quite frankly, according to Steelcase, it's going to last longer because it's got that extra layer on it. So, but anyway, so I will recommend on my side for approval with the roofing material to be further considered with the planner. Is that okay with you?
Yep.
Okay, and that's okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Dylan. So, Tatiana, and communicate with Tatiana, and we'll go from there.
Super.
Okay, so she and I have gone back and forth on several other projects, and she knows what to do with that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna go offline until 1 o'clock. I'd like to call the September 18th, 2025 Montecito Board of Architectural Review to order. First item on the agenda is public comment. I don't think I saw that letter that you said. Did you?
There was actually an addition to that as well. I
Oh.
can pull it up if you want.
Yeah, let's do it. I
Okay.
mean, so apparently somebody had a comment about our approval on, I think it was Orchard, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, so which was first? Okay. Dear David, I just wanted to send this to you in the hopes that this can be shared with some of the members of the MBAR so that they can be aware of the impact of what they passed and allowed. It's just so terrible. Can you move the cursor? And I wanted to be aware of the impact of what was passed and allowed. It's just so terrible. Okay, so dear members, as a longtime resident of Montecito, 631 Orchard Avenue, I just wanted to share this with the board. What was approved at 635 Orchard. I will never understand how something of this magnitude on such a small lot and a narrow street as ours was ever allowed. It looms over every home in the wake, especially my lovely and peaceful backyard, pictured in view in the front of the house from my neighbor directly across the street. I wish the board had been more discerning. Where are we? Before they allowed this McMansion dream house to turn ours into a nightmare. Lori Lieberman.
When was that approved?
2 years ago, I think. Or anything else? Is that it?
There was additional.
Okay, and if it's possible to share this photo as well. So is there a photo down below? Okay, thank you. Anybody else like to address the board for items not on the agenda today, please?
For those of us joining us online, go ahead and raise your hand if you have an item that you'd like to speak on. That's not on today's agenda. No hands raised.
Okay. Agenda status report, anything?
No changes to the report today.
Minutes. I was not here, so of course I can't comment. Has anybody got comments on the minutes?
No,
I cannot make a motion nor vote. Would somebody like to do that, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of September 4th.
There's- Any discussion?
All those in
All
favor?
those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
And it looks
I
like,
guess I abstain.
it looks like John and Dave.
Were you not here, Dave?
You're not here last time? Is
I think you were here.
that wrong?
I think I was the only one out.
Okay.
Okay,
His name isn't on here. Yeah, he was absent.
I'm asking if that was wrong.
Oh,
were you here last meeting?
I think he was absent, right?
That was the one where there's a site visit up on about the pickleball court?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was absent.
So 2 abstentions then. Okay, thank you.
Kimberly Tip is just walking in. Members informational briefing, please. Anybody go anywhere, do anything?
I will be absent at the next meeting, October 2nd.
Anybody else? Staff update. David, Kimberly, anybody?
No new updates, just a reminder that the flyer that I put in the MBAR's folder for last time, that workshop that the Planning Commission is doing regarding changes to the ordinance is scheduled for next week. The County Planning Commission meeting starts at 9, and then we're also holding a special Montecito Planning Commission hearing starting at 1. And so those items will come back later in the fall for action. This is just a workshop to make sure that the commissions are comfortable and understanding of what's being proposed, so they can digest it a little bit. And then, like I said, they'll come back later for action.
Can you put their materials somewhere that we can get?
Sure. You know, the material is posted online. I can send the commission a link to that material.
Okay, that'd be great.
Thank
Anybody else, staff update, Kimberly?
No, thank you.
Okay. Okay, Montecito consent agenda. We had 2 items today. One was 197 Tiburon Bay. Both Rob and I thought it was okay as submitted. So I'd like to make a motion for final approval as submitted. Rob, would you like to second it?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
All those opposed? And 1 abstention. Okay. Item number C2, 664 Oak Grove. We thought this was okay, except the roofing was going to end up shiny, and we're asking that the applicant, in consultation with the planner and myself, review the roofing spec to get it correct. Besides that, you had no comments on it, right? So I'd like to make a motion for final approval with the applicant in consultation with the planner concerning the roofing material. But all other aspects of the project are approved.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Carried unanimously. Okay, conceptual review. Is that you guys? Come on up. This I'd love to find out exactly what's going on here. So if you could kind of take your time. Looks like some people weren't as happy with permitting as others. So is it Caitlin?
Yes, good afternoon, Chair Watson and board members. I'm happy to just go into the introduction and save you from reading the lengthy project description on the agenda.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm Caitlin Ernest with SEPS Land Use Consulting, and our design team here today is David Winitsky. He is the architect for 85 and 87 Butterfly Lane, and we have Jose Luis Esparza, who is the architect for 89 Butterfly Lane. And online, we have Sarah Alexander, landscape architect for 85 and 87 Butterfly Lane. And then in the audience today, we have Kevin Neri. He is representing the condominium ownership. And yeah, just a brief permit update and background history on the project. We are in process of applying for a coastal development permit to permit various as-built and proposed improvements on the property throughout the year. And so there are 3 legal units on the property.
There are what?
3 legal units on the property.
Thank you.
And in 1985, a condominium plan was recorded for the parcel, creating 85, 87, and 89 Butterfly Lane. So this created 3 separate condominiums in their respective yard areas and as well as a common area. And over the years, minor additions have been made to each unit that are unpermitted and have received separate violations. And then we're also here today to review other small improvements at each unit. So that's a little bit of permit history on the background and where we're at. And I think it would be easiest if we started with 85 and 87 Butterfly Lane, go through the architecture and then landscaping, and then we can switch over to 89 Butterfly Lane. So with that, I'll turn it over to David.
I'm David Winitsky. I represent the owners for 85, 87 Butterfly Lane. I'm sorry I don't have a pointer that works on this, but you see where the cursor is right now in the right hand, or on both. Actually, that's the dividing line between 85 and 87.
Would you like to stand up?
Sure. Thank you. '85 Butterfly Lane is this unit. These are attached units. '87 Butterfly Lane is this unit. The dividing line for the property between the two runs this way through the units, this way, and then divides the parking court, which is here. The best way to describe the project is probably to start with the photos. You have that photo group? And if you, I'm going to tell you by sheet number in the PDF. So if you go to 6. So internally in the project, um, what I'm going to do through the photographs is show you images of as-built conditions. Then rather than jumping back and forth between photos and drawings, we'll go to the drawings and I'll review the various components that I'm going to just brushstroke here. One of the components is there's an element which is an existing pad which used to contain spa and fountain equipment. And it was bounded by a fence that is covered in vegetation. And the spa has been removed, the spa equipment has been removed, but this element and the pad will remain. None of this is visible from public rights of way. You go to number 8, please. So this is looking from the east at 85 Butterfly Lane. Tip of 87 is back in the corner. The architectural style on these buildings is a kind of a Tudor style, but it has been modified because we're in California with barrel tile, hips, and ridges. Otherwise, it's got all the other elements typical of that revival style and sharp pitched roofs, slate roofs, and half timber materials on the walls. This is an area that used to be a garage, was changed via permitted change to be habitable space, but on the facade, they left the garage doors and surrounds on the facade. We'll be modifying that. The other modification we'll be making is that this area is an existing garage, and we're going to be modifying that to change the entry doors that are on another face and moving them to this face. We're also changing this mechanical unit. It's going to slide a little bit away from where it is now. And this facade will continue to have a trellis, very much like this, that extends all the way across, and there'll be a new trellis over the garage facade. One thing we're modifying in the architecture, the way it was built, is we're removing this, whatever it is, on the roof, which I think was an attempt in the revival style to wrap the peak like would normally be done in this plane rather than out here. We're removing this and restoring this to a gable end. You'll see in the drawings. One element that we're also getting approved, which is as built, is a pergola. None of the pergola or the structure on the pergola is visible from public rights of way. And it also contains a fireplace. And I'll show you that in more detail in the drawings. We could go to next slide, 9. This is moving around the corner, looking at the north face of 85. What we're going to be doing is moving these garage doors to this facade. We're going to be removing this fence, and this whole area becomes a revised parking court and driveway for all 3 units. You could go to 11, please. One of the elements that was built without permit was this is looking at that same north elevation, moving closer to 87. And this was a pedestrian gateway that was made with doors and a roof covering to match the existing building. You could go to 11, please. Oh, is that where we are? I'm sorry. 13. This is then moving, we were standing down here before, we're moving down and looking backwards at the pedestrian gate. One other thing that's on this approval is that there are a series of storage units that were built outside the building perimeter, but in previous years roofed with the same roofing materials. And so we're incorporating these in the current design and seeking approval for those. One of the elements that was built without permit was an entryway, which includes all of this structure on 87. And that you'll see that in more detail in the drawings as well. And if you could go to 14, please. This is then moving around from that view to look at this face. And this is one of the storage units. The other storage units, you can see a piece of it here, have lower gates and openings. You'll see in our drawings that we're modifying that to be more like solid openings like this. Next item is 15. One of the elements built without permit previously and as built now is a second-story balcony. This is on the south face of 80 or of 807. Got that right? I'm sorry, 87. This is unit 87 here. This is the balcony, and this is one of the storage units that's built under the roof, but is part of the overall facade in the building. Next item is, are you on 15 now? 16. This is standing at the stone terrace at the pergola and shows some low stone walls. The pergola then is behind me. And this is a good place to see the balcony, the storage unit, and this dining kitchen area that was built that has an entirely different roof element than the rest of the structure. We're keeping this here basically and modifying the roof to be more like the other roofs in the rest of the architecture. If you could go to the drawings now. Start with sheet 10. So I'm going to walk through all of the elements in this plan that are being included in this application. One is that this is the mechanical equipment unit here that's moving just a few feet away to get under a new pad and terrace or trellis that will be here. This is the place where the new garage doors will be located. And this is a new carport. The garage will be used by 85. The carport will be for 87. That's why the dividing line continues through this here. And this is where that pergola is located. These are the 4 posts to the pergola. And you'll see more details on that in the drawing. This is the location of the pad. So we're keeping the pad, we're keeping the fencing around it, we're keeping the planting that's there, but all of the spa equipment and spa have been removed.
Where's the setbacks around the pergola, please?
So one more time.
The setbacks at the pergola, are you in the rear yard setback or side yard setback?
No, actually the setback should be on, what drawing are we on? We're proposed site plan. No, I'm sorry, that is incorrect. This is the setback line here.
So you're in the setback.
So we're in the setback for the pergola.
Thank you.
Next sheet, please. Then this is a floor plan view This is what was permitted previously. This is as built. I'm not going to go into the details of the interior changes. I'm only going to be addressing the exterior changes that have visible impact on the project. This is the location of a new exterior shower and relocated HVAC system. This is the carport area. This is the location of the garage, new garage doors on this end. This is one of the exterior storage unit areas. This is another one here. On 87, we're relocating mechanical equipment that right now is at the property line. We're relocating it back to the face of the building, which is outside of the setback. Go to number 12. This is the second floor view, and it shows the improvements we're making in the roof changes in the dining and family room area, raising that roof up. The new trellis here that matches the existing trellises on the project, new trellis at the garage, which does the same, and a new trellis over the shower and equipment area here. Next slide, please. This is the pergola, and it's all heavy timber construction, stone fireplace and chimney. And this is we were standing here looking down before. That's the terrace that it sits on. Next sheet, next sheet. So I'm going to focus on our proposed elevation here. The top view is what was permitted previously. This view is as it's built now, and this view is what's proposed. This shows the raised roof and the new roofing area on the dining family room. This shows the pedestrian gated entry for 87. Shows the new entry that's already built on 87, and it shows the new coverings on the storage areas that remain in the same plane they are now. It shows the removal of some of the privacy screening that was done for the kitchen area here. Shows the new carport for 87. And we've tried to match the half timber lines in the existing facade so that the carport springs off of that, and tries to use similar detailing in beam ends and heavy timber structure that exists elsewhere on the property. This shows a side view of the portion of the trellis that we're pulling out for the garage area. And this shows a portion of the trellis and the HVAC equipment. Next slide. Once again, permitted, as built, and proposed. This is a view from the east, looking at the relocated garage doors, facade, and the removed peak on that roof to bring this back to a gabled in face. The trellis over the garage, the trellis over the shower and the mechanical equipment, and one of the new skylights in the roof. This in the background is the peak of the gable end on the new dining roof that is in between the two structures. Next slide. There's a view on the north face. It shows the relocated mechanical equipment against the building. It shows the second story balcony that was previously built. It shows the dining room addition and roof and the trellis extending from it. And it shows the removed peak on this existing roof and the trellis and shower and mechanical equipment area on the east face. Next slide. This is then a view from the west elevation and shows the mechanical equipment we're moving against the building. It shows the existing pedestrian gateway. It shows the entry that was done on 87. It shows a column in the background of the carport. And it shows the dining room addition as the roof pops up and new site walls that are springing off of the property line division. Next slide. That's all I have for 85 and 87.
And Sarah, if you're online, can you go ahead and present the landscape sheets for 85 and 87?
Yes, my name is Sarah Alexander, and I'm the landscape architect representing the owners of 85 and 87. And I'd like to start on page 20 of the PDF. Yes, so this is the proposed hardscape plan, and it also shows the existing hardscape as well. The main items that I want to focus on are the permeable driveway, which is going to be for 85 and 87, is going to be able to be used as one driveway made of permeable pavers. And then the new driveway gates and pedestrian gates. At the lower southeast corner is the existing driveway gate for 85, and we want to change that to a trash enclosure and a pedestrian gate. I will show elevations. And then along Butterfly, we want to propose a new curb cut for a new set of driveway gates for 85, and then replace the existing ones at 89, having the driveway gate and the pedestrian gate. If you go to the next sheet, these are the materials we're proposing for the way that the gates look. They're nice arched gates. They go with the existing architecture. And we're proposing a board and batten custom cedar fence where we need new fencing. And where we're doing stucco, we're thinking about using a smooth Santa Barbara finish white stucco. I would propose also to stain all the cedar with a driftwood gray color. I've always liked the Cabot stains, and probably a semi-solid. Next sheet, please. We have some new lanterns also next to these driveway gates, and we like these Santa Barbara fixtures, and we're going to use the etched glass in order to make them dark sky friendly. And we also like the brown metal. And I've also recorded all the existing lights on the property on the plan. Next sheet, please. Okay, so now we can really see what I'm talking about. The top elevation is where the old driveway gates for 85 used to are right now. And we want to have a pedestrian gate, little arched pedestrian gate, and then an area where we can store our trash. So it's really convenient to take in and out. I'm proposing having it basically look like the rest of the fence, this nice board and batten cedar fence. And we'll be building this between the existing stone pilasters, which have some really nice existing lanterns on them. For the driveway gates, which are out on Butterfly, we have this convex arch cedar gate. And then we have those new lanterns I was just showing on the board and batten fence. We've elected to go a little bit simpler here, just because we feel like it reflects how this property is a cottage. And then for 89, that's the bottom one, not 89. For 87, excuse me, the bottom elevation has the driveway gate, and then it also has the pedestrian gate next to it. So you have good access on Butterfly. And next sheet, please. Okay, so this top one is going to divide between 85 and 87 horizontally. You really won't be able to see it from the street. but we detailed it out anyway. The top section that's up on top is a board and batten fence that connects to the existing board and batten fence that's along the music school drive that goes along that one side. And then the other part would be stucco with another one of these nice cedar gates and one of these little lanterns. And then the bottom wall is going to be the new wall that goes in between 87 and 89. And so we're connecting to an existing stone plaster, and then it's a stucco wall. If we go back to sheet 20, I can point out where these two items are. So the bottom one is the stucco wall that is at the north end between 87 and 89. And the other wall is on the south side, and it cuts between the yards for 85 and 87. I'd also like to look at the planting. We've designed a new planting plan for this project, primarily natives. And that is on sheet 25. We're preserving all the existing trees. There's a lot of really nice mature foliage here. We're mostly just adding stuff to make it look really pretty and give a lot of seasonal interest. All low water plants, and you'll see those plants on the next sheet. That's sheet number 26. Yes. So we have a variety of plants, including yarrow and seaside daisy and Yankee Point ceanothus, which is really the one that you're going to see primarily along Butterfly Lane. And I also have Canyon Prince Wild Rye out there. Just a very kind of woodsy coastal plant palette. And that's it for the proposed landscape.
Thanks, Sarah. And then lastly, we'll have Jose Luis review 89 Butterfly Lane.
We can turn to the sheet 29 of the drawings. So this is our proposed site plan. We've got a 2-car garage. We've got an addition and conversion of the existing covered entry. And we have an addition to the dining area. And previously, we had a violation where a closet or a deck had been turned into a closet up on the second floor here, which was then we got a permit to restore it, and now we're going back to enclosing it. There's really no views up much up there with the surrounding trees. There's no real view, so the owners would prefer to have it as a storage. On our existing elevations, our entry gates, what we're proposing to do is right now the gates, the pedestrian gate is on this side. We want to move it to the right side and demolish a column that's here, and then create a second column for the gate, and then just move the existing gates over. So, and we can look at the pictures to show that. We're gonna go to photograph number 21. So, yeah, we're just there. back to, there you go. So right now, this is where the new dividing wall is going to be. So this gate gets moved over, and then the driveway gets moved over. But it's designed to look the same without the light on top. We're not proposing any lights for our columns. One more. Next one. So this is our covered entry, which we're going to enclose, and then we're doing this as a proposed addition, a little home, not office, but a den. Proposed addition here to the dining area. And then on the, that's the permitted plan. And then if we go to the next page, you can see the second floor. So right now the second floor has the deck up there, which we'll enclose to proposed closet, walk-in closet. Next. This is our proposed 2-car garage. We're using the little mansard roof to match the backside of the buildings. And it'll be detached and more than 20 feet from the driveway gates, which is what the fire department requires. Next. This is our north elevation. This is our used to be the garage, which we got permitted as an accessory dwelling unit. So right now we don't have any covered parking for our unit. Next elevation. This is the back elevation. I'm sorry, not the east elevation. So this will be the garage, the new garage, proposed garage, and then we've got so that's what that would look like. Everything else on that elevation is fairly close. Right now we've got a window here, so when we do the addition, we'll have I'm sorry, this will be the window instead of the little porch that we have there. Next. For the landscaping, the only thing that we're proposing, the only change that we're really proposing is to do pavers in the driveways, which is on the site plan, on the architectural site plan. The rest of the landscaping is existing, and of course we're doing a swimming pool in the back. And besides that, all of the rest of the landscape is existing. We can go to the elevation, photograph. Page. It's fine. We can go to the next one. So this is the front of the house. This is the front. The gates get moved over next. This is where the garage is going to go. That's the accessory dwelling unit. This is our covered entry. Next. This is on the front or street frontage of the accessory dwelling unit with the side. The garage doors used to be here before we converted to an accessory dwelling unit. Next. And this is the space between the two buildings, little courtyard with a fountain. Next. Next, this is the back of the building, as you can see, fully landscaped. This is the back of the entry. This is where the addition is going to go, or the little study. And that's the second floor balcony that would get enclosed. Next. The close-up of the back of the entry. So this would be added to on the first floor. Next. And basically that concludes my presentation. I guess
Caitlin,
we'll
are you done
answer
then,
any
please?
questions now.
Yes, that concludes the presentation. Thank you.
Let's just go down the way. Oh, he moved. Robert,
What year was 89 built versus 85 and 87?
So the permit history showed that the original house on the property was 89 Butterfly Lane, which was in the 1950s. And then in 1975, a development plan was approved for the duplex, which is 85 and 87.
Oh, but the whole thing was for 89 at the beginning.
Yes, that was the original unit on the property.
And is the easement to the Music Academy of the West, is that kind of the exit for them?
That is their private driveway that
But
they use to exit the property.
to exit,
Yes.
and they come in on the other side, on the west. And then curious, is this where the pedestrian underpass goes to Coast Village?
Yes, it does. It dead ends at Butterfly Lane, which is where we are on the property. To the north are the train tracks and the highway, and that's where that crossing is.
Okay. And as far as mitigating the noise from the highway and the railroad, um, what is that on the north? Is that a wall? Did you say that? Or how do you help?
Yes, that is a sound wall. I believe it's 8 feet or it may be 10 feet high.
Okay. No more questions.
Bill, questions, please.
Do these have floor area ratios? Do we get into that
The
on this?
duplex would not, the other would.
Okay, well, guessing the other's pretty small, so I'm not too worried about that. So what's the requirement for parking? Do you have two covered and one uncovered, or because it's a
Coastal zone.
one bedroom,
Coastal zone, no covered.
no coverage is required? Okay, so you're meeting the requirements, over exceeding in what is required. Okay. Um, uh, And the houses between 85 and 87 and 89, they're kind of a different style. So it wasn't like you're trying to match gates or you're really kind of keeping them independent. They're already there, right? The one on 89 is already there, a gate. The ones on 87 and 85 are new. Is that right? They're
Yes.
newer.
Yes.
They're existing. Is that correct?
The existing ones on 85 and 87 are different style than the proposed ones. Would you like to see a photo?
Well, no, I mean, I guess my question was, there was no reason why you were going to try and match all three
Yeah.
gates.
They're distinctive styles of houses. So we wanted 85 and 87 to have a matching look since they're connected, but 80 we feel like is its own style.
And to clarify, are you adding another a second? So you had two curb cuts on 85 and 87,
Yes,
and now you're repositioning them. Is that right?
we're repositioning them.
And do you feel like you need to have the two to get access? I mean, you're not, that motor court on 85 and 87 is wide enough where you could come in one gate and kind of maneuver around and still get in if you had to? Do you feel like you need to have the two openings there? Is there a reason for privacy or separation of unit or something to that effect?
I think it's more ease of use than anything, because it would be kind of tight to get in and out. You'd have to back up a pretty, and to also be able to utilize the garage with changing the doors the way that they want to change them.
I mean,
And then, so yeah,
you're still coming in, I mean, both the carport and the garages both come in the same face. If you had the upper driveway and not the bottom one, could you still get in there and make that work? I guess is the question. Could you get away with the upper or the lower and not one or the other? Is it workable? It looks like you have enough turnaround there.
it would be a lot of backing up. I don't think you could, if somebody, let's say somebody was parked in front of the garage of 85, then in order to get out of the carport on 87, you'd have to use the upper one. And so you'd have to back all the way up to get out that carport. And let's say, on the other hand, that 87 has stacked parking on the other side, then 85 can't get out of the upper one. It just gives a lot more options to where people can park their cars, and it makes it so you can do a full turnaround and then pull out front first.
Okay. All right. That's good enough.
There's another reason for that. I'm Kevin Neri. My wife and I are the owners of 85 and 87. This is a 3-unit condominium complex, and I think the degree of friction between owners in a condominium complex is inversely proportional to the number of units. So the goal here is to make each unit distinct. And in the case of 85 and 87, currently we own both, so we could just have a single gate. But as a future proof, I think it makes a lot of sense for 85 and 87 to have independent gates that they could use. You could envision a
Separation there.
Wall, essentially, where the dotted line is.
Fence or
yard
something.
areas there.
Okay. And then Jose, on yours 89, can we go to that site plan? Do you have 2 openings there on your property? Those are existing as well into the.
They are both existing.
Okay.
One was into the main driveway court, which that's where we're gonna have the garage. The other one is on the north end, and that used to go to what the old garage was, which is now the accessory dwelling unit. But there's also a 30-foot easement for the sanitary district because that's where they have the main lines going to the sanitary district. So they need to have access at any time in case of emergency. And as you can see, there's no building where everything is being set back from that.
And not to talk about the ADU, but the paving around it, you've got now what was an old garage. Are you going to garden up to where the old doors were to make it more of an ADU? Or
we're proposing to exchange the asphalt with pavers. The owners like the idea of having pavers to make it look like a courtyard.
I guess the question though is on that easement side,
yes.
Are you paving right up to the building there? Are you going to create a planter or anything to buffer the new building from the?
No planters being proposed. We would just go up to the building.
Okay. All right. Great. That's all. Thanks, John.
Rob, please.
Hi, Jose. A long time no see. Let's see. There's some thought about trying to, I guess, trying to create a simple hierarchy. And I think Bill's line of questioning was I see we're on, what is it, 85, 87, where we have two driveways. Is there I mean, why not, if the intent is to try to create distinct units, why not take that further and actually do that in the layout of the parking? Um, there's just kind of I mean, there's a lot of entries, there's a lot of things going on, and it's kind of an opportunity to simplify and create kind of a simple hierarchy of sense of entry and sense of where you park. So I guess my question is, why not, like when I look at that, why not create separation in the driveways? Have you considered that? Have you studied that?
Well, there is a separation by that wall that you see that has a curve to it. That's going to be the separation between 85 and 89.
87.
I'm sorry, 87 and 89. So that 89 will be completely separate once the project is done.
I'm looking like where that eucalyptus is, and then you've now have two driveway entries in there. Aren't those, isn't the intent there to be two separate units? Those entry gates serve two separate units. So did you folks consider basically having the paving kind of respond to that as such that you you create the entry gate serves one, and the parking lays out accordingly, works with the one gate, with each gate. I don't think I phrased that very well, but why not
You're
entirely
referring
separate
to
it?
85 and 87. So
Am I
Jose,
not read?
let's let Sarah Alexander address that. This is, I think you're referring to 85 and 87.
Yes, yeah. No, I'm seeing the two gates.
Yes.
First of all, let me ask this: are those responding to the fire department setback? Is that in terms of the setback on the where the gate columns are? Does that work with that in terms of the proper setback?
We've been working with Montecito Fire and they have approved the location of the gates. We're now just working with Public Works because they don't comply with that 30-foot setback from the
Okay.
right of way.
So then what I'm trying to understand is then how does, like, I'm focusing on the units with the eucalyptus. I mean, when you drive through one of the gates, then is getting to each one's front door clear? It looks like I'm confused by kind of where people park, where the front doors are, how that kind of all is simplified.
Okay. The one to the north would be for 87, and you basically pull straight into where there's a carport that links to the entry path along the north that goes to the front door. And then the one to the south would be for 85, and it goes straight into a garage, and there's a nice walk-through garden that leads to that front door to the south. So basically, to the section to the north is on 85's property, and the section to the south is on 89. We could.
So why not separate them is I think is my question. Because, and Bill alluded to that, if you're not going to separate them, then why have two, why have two curb cuts or two gates?
Well, I think for ease of maneuverability, I think it does enhance how they're able to park and where they're able to put their cars, and just, having a friendly neighbor policy where you're allowed to pull into 85 side or 87 side just to turn your car around and get out the gate.
Okay, so, and then,
Primarily for maneuverability.
I'm sorry, what was that?
For maneuverability.
Okay.
Mhm.
And can we look at the upper one? Is that 89 then?
Yes. Bill, did you? Yeah.
29. One more,
Yeah, it's kind of,
30.
so that's one unit, but now you have two separate driveways, basically.
Yes, that's historically that's the way it's been. And the one on the north or the top of the page, that's that's where the easement is for the sanitary district. So there we need to have them be able to get in and out. The one on towards the middle of the site, that's the where the gates have always been. So we're just moving them up like 5 feet. And that's where the new garage is being proposed.
I mean, and this isn't as obvious and looks far more complicated to be able to do, but did you study it all looking at being able to create one to where you position that new building and all that? Does it, is there any opportunity to access that by just having one gate and one curb cut in there and kind of just creating just simplifying stuff?
Yeah.
Look at that, I guess.
Well, yeah, the reason for the two gates is one is, you know, for access to the garage. The other one is actually for access for the sanitary district. I mean, we don't have any parking on that side, but if the sanitary district needs to get in, they need a gate, you know.
No, I mean, well, I mean, does the sanitary district, I mean, if you don't have that ability to do that, you're adding something just for the sanitary district? I mean, that's.
Well, it was designed there from the beginning. It was already there when the first project was built.
And if you didn't have that second curb cut, would the sanitary district not serve you, or would they find another way to serve you, I guess is the question.
We haven't asked that question of them.
Okay.
We do know that they won't let us put any structures over their easement. You know, anything and everything that goes on that easement has to be removable. Because like I said, their main line goes through there. And when I say main line, we're talking about carries everything that the Montecito provides. They're just on the other side of the academy, which is next door to this site on the west. So that needs to be able to be ripped up and dug into in case of emergency.
Okay. All right. Those are my questions for now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
How does that, excuse me, that existing easement gate compare to the new one you're proposing?
I'm sorry?
How does the existing gate at the sanitary easement compare design-wise to the gates you're proposing?
The one we're proposing, we're just moving. We're using the same gate, same everything. The other one is very plain. I think it's 6 foot high, slatted gate.
So it's downplayed relative.
Yeah, the design is different. I don't know that there was a picture that comes out in any of the pictures.
It's not in the photos, but we can pull it up on Google Street View if you'd like to see.
I think it's just helpful when we have two gates close to each other. Often it helps if one is more service gate as opposed to an entry gate. While he's doing that, I have a couple questions for the other property. The trellis structure that's within the setback, how close is it to the adjacent neighbors, and is there any type of screening, visual screening around it?
Yeah, there's a 6 foot high wall or fence standing on a approximately 2 to 3 foot high stone wall separating that pergola from what is a music academy structure. No, he's referring to the pergola, right? So
They're just going to show us the gate.
you won't be able to see it.
All the way to the end.
Oh, I
They
see.
back up against the Music Academy.
Okay, so they're not close to.
There.
And then okay, so that's the second gate On the other properties, the new driveway gates in plan, they appear to be showing the stone columns, but in elevation, there's just one column on one of them. I was confused by that.
You go to page 20. Yeah. The, in plan, those boxes are actually showing the new light fixtures. There aren't any columns. Currently there is one existing one, but we are proposing to take it out. In order to make, both gates look similar and, go together with the architecture of the house.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, questions, please.
No questions.
And I have no questions. Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 1, 85, 87, 89 Butterfly Lane, please?
And seeing no hands raised online.
Okay, so this was our first review. A lot of it is as-built. There's a minor this and that. We are on for concept. Let's see if we can be really sharp with our comments. This is kind of taking a little while. Robert, please.
Yeah, it's a pretty complex project, but I don't think you're asking too much. I understand the access for the double gates on 85 and 87 for maneuverability. 89, the sewer thing, well, you gotta have that. The whole thing is there's a lot of development, but it's and it's been cobbled together kind of over time, which I think is part of the charm. So I'm okay with this project.
Bill, comments, please.
Yeah, I think, the trellis being in the setback, I'm okay with because it's not against a neighbor there. It's far away. It'd be nice to see the neighborhood as well. Maybe have it on the site plan. I'm okay with the 2 driveway cuts, for the fact that you've got 2 units there and maybe at some point in the future, you might end up dividing it. The night sky compliant light doesn't look like it's night sky compliant. It should probably have, it needs to have the fixture up inside the shroud of it instead of just putting frosting on the outside. So you can find a light fixture that'll work for that. On 89, I'm okay with the driveways. The access driveway though, my gut says to, again, I guess you can do whatever you want, but maybe diminish that gate because it's really just for access for the utility guys. And do you need to have a paver there or can you do a gravel? I don't know. Does it need to be hardscape? In other words, I know it's permeable, so that's okay. So I could go either way with it. There were some things on 85 and 89, which I think are existing. There's some half timbers that are kind of unusual looking. There's one that kind of comes up and then runs under the sill of the window. You're probably not changing that. If you were going to change it, maybe you could make it better. Other than that, I think I can support what you've got going here. So thank you.
Rob, please.
I'm still trying to, I guess, fully absorb and process, and I guess I'm not completely in alignment with the other board members, which is always the case. I think there's kind of a lost opportunity here. I find there's like so much paving, so much hardscape, so much clutter, and it looks kind of chaotic in planned view, kind of and maybe that's the way it has to be because you've inherited all this stuff. It's been there, and then as Robert says, maybe that's charming. I just find that there's an opportunity to kind of create more of a simple sense of create some hierarchy to it, and so that there's, like you said, you want to create individuality in it so that you have kind of one driveway and columns that you enter and you park. And I think that can be laid out, and the function can be there and the circulation can be there. It's like a lot of room there. And then create kind of a pedestrian, like, so that it reads, there's a pedestrian entry that comes off the street, and it reads that way and for each unit. And I think more so that's the case with the bottom two units than the 89 unit. But so to me, I think there's an opportunity being lost here by not trying to simplify and then make it and get a lot more landscaping and just make it more lush in there. And then along the lines of the landscaping, um, there's I appreciate the notion of using natives, but I think and this is more my position, as I think as you get in, and particularly as you get down to the beach, natives thrive up in the foothills where it's rocky, and they perform better up there for a reason. As you get down to the coast, the soils are not as friendly to that. And so that's where I tend to push, Santa Barbara subtropical. I think there needs to be some introduction of that in and around close to the units that kind of goes in hand with that area. And then natives can be kind of on the outside perimeter. But if you have natives as your main theme throughout, then they don't have a real long lifespan either. So it's not something over the long term that will be successful. So I guess I would encourage to look at a more broad palette of plants that qualify for WELO, but have a little bit more lush in keeping with that area. So anyways, those are my comments. Thank you.
Chip, comments, please. Oh, I'm sorry, Dave, comments.
Uh, For the architecture, I think everything you're proposing is improving what's there and is consistent with the design style. I think you've justified the driveway gates. The trellis isn't impacting neighbors of the community. So basically, I think everything you're proposing isn't creating an impact to the neighbors. And so for those reasons, I can support the direction you're going.
Chip,
I have nothing else to add to it.
I am an architect, and I think the architecture is fine. One of the things that I've learned on this board is the importance of landscape architecture for the community to really, if it's not the distinguishing characteristic, I'm not so sure I know what is. I'm not impressed. I think you kind of want it both ways. I want to, in case we have two neighbors, then we're not going to have the asphalt. If we have that, oh, but I want it now. So, I think you kind of have to choose, because I see a heck of a lot of asphalt and my opinion is that I see a lot of asphalt. I see a lot of hardscape on this project. And the general plan, the community plan says residential, low intensity, semi-rural. This doesn't feel like that to me. This feels, it's not urban, but it's probably suburban, and it's just not as soft as I think that most areas in Montecito are. So as much as I think that the architecture is okay, I'm not at all convinced about the landscape architecture. I would love somebody to really get in there and look at all of it. I can't even tell what's hardscape and what isn't, but my fear is that a lot of it is on there, and it's just going to be paved over. So I would highly encourage you to really dig into the landscape plan. The Montecito guidelines has a very specific provision that says minimize curb cuts. I don't see that here. Now, it's not a requirement, it's not in the ordinance, but it seems to me we've got 4 gates here, plus another gate down at the bottom. I just don't know that it needs to happen in terms of that. The easement for the sewer district, that requires no paving or anything. It just requires, an understated gate that maybe once in 50 years they're going to come in and use, maybe. So, I think that can just be minimized to the greatest extent possible. And they don't want trees and they don't want they don't want buildings. I think this can be turned into just about anything at that point, and soft and gentle. So that's my particular feeling. I think that um, Rob and I share that a lot. I'm not sure. Sounds like the other members are okay with it, but um, that's my feeling. Now we are on for concept. No vote today. What do we want to do with this next? Well, let me ask you a question. Is there anybody that's got any particular problem with the architecture itself? Anybody? Okay, so it sounds to me like we're down to landscape.
Could I address that, please?
Yes, please, just quick though.
I don't know if there is an error in our landscape plan, but we are eliminating all asphalt,
Well,
putting in hardscape or permeable pavers.
well, when anything that is not a plant, to me is hardscape. Okay? So maybe I'm being overly.
Okay, but it's not asphalt.
If I said asphalt, I apologize. So it sounds like we're down to site planning. What do we want to do with this? Kathleen, are you with us? Kathleen? No? Okay.
I personally, I would like to see just a rough, loose concept of with what you and I are kind of seeing and try to relay some of this out with the notion of simplifying it. I think that you can have the function that you're after as the homeowners. I see a lot of paving out there. It's just all over the place. It doesn't really, I mean, if you show me like how cars maneuver and all that, there's templates that do all that stuff. And I see that done all the time. And I think you would find that you could have the maneuverability, the function, and it could be a lot nicer of a place. It could be substantially better. And so I'm not asking you to like abandon everything you've done. Take a crack at it with a simple concept and then come back and see how we react. And then, or if you don't like it, we're there's,
Yeah.
we can always be outvoted. So
Okay,
anyway.
so if you want to say something very short, please.
Yeah. So we looked at this, and the maneuverability when we separate driveways of 85 and 87 is such that we end up with more hardscape.
If you'd like to present that as an alternative to prove your case, please do. So, gentlemen, if we're down to site planning, and Stacy's not here, do we want to see this back at this board?
Yeah, probably full board review.
Okay, so let's put it on preliminary and final. Preliminary, final at the full board. Okay, is that okay with everybody? Okay, with the emphasis of the next meeting on landscape. Okay, or site planning. Site planning. Thank you. Item number 2, 756 Hot Springs Road, please. Diana, are you here? Okay. And we are on for prelim final while she's coming. Consider reducing some of the hardscape throughout the site. Consider working with a landscape architect to better integrate the plantines on site. Study the massing and return with 3D models of the elevations. Provide sections for the single-family dwelling. Eliminate the second curb cut driveway apron. Study the basement aspect of the project. That sounds like comments from 2 times ago. But we are on for preliminary final. Diana, are you ready? Welcome back.
Hello, I'm Diana Kelly, agent for the Carties. This is Chad Carty and his wife Haley is able to attend. And the new landscape designer is Chantal Vaux here with us. And I was going off of the comments that David had emailed me of the last meeting too. There's about 13 items listed as comments.
Yeah, I think
so some of those did sound older,
yeah.
But we can talk about everything. So
okay.
I'm just addressing the line items that were most recently given from the last meeting. So primarily, we're starting with the driveway. and that was to consider the driveway. If we can go to show the existing site plan on A 1.0, please. There we go. And it's very lightly grade to the north, the existing driveway, which leads up to a 4-car garage from the north side. And then the next sheet is in a large scale for the proposed idea. So I broke it up into two halves, north and south. So we'd like to keep the existing driveway entry. There are no curbs here. It's just the asphalt concrete apron to the asphalt road. It's a concrete apron to asphalt paving road. So no curbs are there. It's just dirt and landscape. Private driveway, private road of Las Tejas off of Hot Springs Road. So his property is at the end of Las Tejas, and there's just one property to the north here along this, which is basically Chad's driveway, the whole private road. Okay, so we wanted to have a more circular kind of maneuverability through the existing driveway, down past the new front entry on the east side of the house, down to the new 2-car garage at the south at the lower level. So we were going down, working off of the natural topography. And then we want to create a rolling gate for egress, mostly so someone could loop around completely and go out nose first back onto the road. And we have met with the Montecito Fire District, Protection District, and they do approve and prefer this versus a T turnout for fire equipment. They prefer the loop around. And last time you told me to verify and research more, review it, that this driveway can even work with the elevation changes. So I have done that. And if you please go to the next sheet is showing the south. Not much is happening down there except for the new pool, but further south too, that's an existing guest house or workshop, they call it in the historic drawings. And so the next sheet though, on A 1.3, I pumped up the scale again to look at this driveway situation some more in the new front entry. So we're working off existing topography here, and I showed some more photos on the left side there of the sheet to show you how it's a really nice gradual descent from the existing driveway going towards the south where the new basement and garage level will be. So I'm working with that. The photo, that second from the bottom there, back at the house, I mean, it's just naturally going the proper way to get down to a new garage. So we were working off of existing conditions here. So it wasn't a massive grading change. And by studying it more, I did that section study by elevations there. And I turned it on its side to fit the page, but there's the section cut and what it looks like. And it is about 15% grade. And then the owners hired a civil engineer, Trevor Lordston from Bethel Engineering, and we worked on this design with him too. So the next sheet is his civil engineering grading plan that proves it works well and very minimal grading that Chad is going to be able to disperse on the land, keep everything on site. So we have studied that more. And then I went back to my exterior elevations. So if you could please go to A311, I wanted to make sure right there. So there on the bottom is the proposed elevation of the front entry with this driveway, showing the grade change on the right side to the left side, going down to the new 2-car garage. It works quite well with retaining walls. And these retaining wall there to get to the front steps creates really wonderful tiered landscape area for plantings. So we're working on that together. And then we then could have guest parking in front of, on the right side, in front of the new site wall with gate that leads to the private kids play area and a more adult lounging area that you can see on the site plan if you want to go back to that. But this proved to me it works out well with the grade elevation change. It works out nicely. So I like how that's improved there. And also A312, I see it from the south, looking back at it. On the right side there, you can see there are steps up to the front door for access, so it will take steps. Nice stone steps that'll work with those walls as well. And that'll get up to the front door. And then in that garage, there is an access to get up inside internally. So we're really trying to work off the existing grade there, and that it's not a lot of work to make this driveway happen. All right. The owners did consider separate driveways, but they prefer this design for the flow and the connection. And that's what they want. So, and also that's what the Montecito Fire Protection District prefers as well. Chad has met with them there. Okay. Next, we were asked to consider that the north entryway be the front door entrance. So if we go, let's say to A2.02 first, I'll show you existing. Boom, right there. Right in the center of the north part, double swinging doors coming in. And then there's a 4-car garage. And then Chad wants to get rid of the 4-car garage and the driveway that's north of that. So if you go to the next sheet, A2.11, this is the basement. So let's go upstairs, please. There you go. Still keep an entrance there that gets to the north yard area. But in this design, they would rather have a nicer, grander entry on the east side there, coming into a more towered design with a landing and steps down to that driveway. And as you come in there, the view to the south opens up through the greater, more public rooms like the living room. So they prefer this entry that's more street facing instead of rounding up around the north as it used to be. And then if you go to say A1.1, you'll see the site plan. They much prefer that the north entry then gets turned into entering where it's more of a private yard where the kids' play area can be where the new children's bedrooms are, right outside of there to the north. So that's the kids' area. And there's a site wall off the corner of the house going north that divides from the guest parking area. So that's more secure and safe. And then on the left side is the adult lounge area with a fountain. So that's in the more adult primary bedroom, bathroom area. And they want this more private yard there. So they like that the entry is more to the east side facing the street, and the driveway just makes more sense that way. The way the whole house is laid out by their design, it's what they'd like. We've worked on it for almost a year now together, all of us, with you as well. Okay, if we could go, the next suggestion was to restudy the proportions of the front door. So please go to A3.11, elevation 1B at the bottom there. There you go. So we aligned the header of the front door with the other adjacent windows and doors left and right there. So that works out better. And then we shrank down the transom over that doorway, made it smaller. So it was just out of proportion before. So better that we brought it down and shrank it as directed. So that works out better at that size. Next, looking at this elevation too, we restudied the massing of the second floor area, which is, right over basement. That's the first floor area. Where you see the Juliet balcony over to the left is a low end wall to the south balcony. So rather than have an open railing there, we made that low wall to bookend the balcony, which is a much better look, creates more massing over the garage door than it did before. So that looks better to me. Let's see. So that improves that elevation. We'll come back to that too because of another comment. All right. Then if you go please to A3.12, the next sheet down, boom. We restudied the back terrace layout. We were told to study the back terrace layout and to add symmetry to this area that it comes down to the pool deck. So we started with symmetry when we first looked at this, but we added in this mid-level terrace, which really is essential to create a wholly enclosed basement level that lets us achieve the floor area ratio that seemed approvable last time we met. I got nods about that it was doable and acceptable and counted for FAR, that we were okay with that, as I recall. So having a straight run of stairs down the right side, it just works well to exit that way and get down to the pool deck quickly. But on the left side, that gets down to another mid-level deck that is where a barbecue and dining area is. So it's not such a long flight from the kitchen that's in the middle on the first floor. And then just a few steps down to the pool deck area. So they love this design and want to stay with this design, and planters are included inside these decks too to get more greenery close to the house. So this works out well for functionality on the different levels, great access on all sides.
Diana, we've all seen a lot of this. Can you be as brief as possible? Let's get to the landscape
Sure.
plan. Thank you.
Almost done. We're right there. Next was formalized landscaping to match the formality of the residence. So now the owners have hired the new landscape designer. This is Chantel Vo, and she's going to talk about her landscape work now, shown on sheets L1 through L4.
Good afternoon. You can go to the landscape sheets. I'll walk you guys through my new design. So overall, we just wanted to keep it simple and low water and low maintenance. We simplified the plant palette and chose plants that complement the architecture and blend in with the surrounding landscape. We concentrated on having just plants around the house and hardscape in order to highlight the beauty of the surrounding oaks around the entire property. So I'm going to start with the front entry and kind of go into more specific details that I put into this plan. So the front entry on the east side, as Diana said, has some terrace plantings. I think the terrace planters kind of create a nice entry into the front door, and we have a nice accent olive tree there. And then as well as some lavender and aloes in those planter beds that give some color and okay, yeah. And then sorry, well, I'm going to go clockwise and kind of run down through the entire plan with you. So next we have the terraces that Diana spoke about. We do have planter beds in the terraces, as she said, to help green up those patios. And then we also have ornamental grasses along the pool decking to soften the edge and provide a natural barrier for safety and definition. The pathways that you can kind of see go around the entire house, they're surrounded by lavender and aloes to soften the edges, and the pathways are gravel with metal edging, and they're organic in shape to just help break up the linear geometry of the architecture. And then going to the north side of the property, As Diana was talking about, we have the adult kind of area with the patio with the fountain and the spa. And around that is we actually have some existing lawn, which really helps create a separation between that patio and then the kids' play area that she had mentioned. Um, let's see, we have some fruit trees in the kids' play area for them to pick fruits. We have, as you can see, centered on the north access, we have a nice olive tree there as well. And then above that, in the slope above that yard, we have a native ground cover and a mixture of agaves up there for slope stabilization. And yeah, that kind of wraps up this plan. And if you go to the next one, um, that's my irrigation plan, and it is all drip irrigation with a smart sensor with weather sensor. And then the next plan or the next sheet. Here's the hydrozone legend as well as the water calculations and let's see. Yeah, and the calculations meet the maximum applied water allowance. And then the last sheet is just irrigation details that coincide with the irrigation system that we're installing. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, questions, Tip, please. We are on for prelim and final tonight, or this afternoon. Tip,
Yeah, so you still maintain the two entrances,
Yes, sir.
one
One
main,
existing and then one rolling gate, just to be down closer to the new garage down at the south there. So
And,
they loop around and then have a, entrance to that new garage.
and how wide is that private driveway?
The portion between them,
No, the main road, I mean, the driveway,
20 feet wide,
the street,
the street,
20 feet
20
wide.
feet wide.
And it serve how many
This
residents?
property and one to the north,
One more to the
just
north.
one to the north,
All right, thank you.
private residence.
Is that it, Tip? Dave, please.
No questions.
Rob, please.
I don't have any questions.
Bill, please.
Uh, The maneuvering of that, coming out of that garage there, if that gate
K 1.1,
5 or 6 feet, it's, maybe go up one more sheet there.
there you go.
If that gate came down so that it was maybe a little better in alignment with that, is that possible? Could that?
There's an oak tree there. I'm being cognizant of the drip line of that tree, but we can move it.
It looks like
It doesn't exist, but we could figure out exactly,
That's
the drip line to be
a
able
new
to
one?
shove it down further.
Oh, that's a new.
Right, just like a foot. Yeah, that's a new one.
Yeah.
It's just
Oh,
a fence and a stone wall at this point,
yeah.
and it isn't much of a drop from grade to road there either.
It just
it's-
looks real tight at the corner if you were coming from above to try and make that turn to get into the door.
Yeah, and come back.
Be
Out
of the
The garage is centered under that Juliet balcony, so
Yeah.
I mean, I tried to get it close there, but I'm just being very aware of that oak tree to the south.
So
we're working it right in
it
to a
could,
proper spot there.
could scoot down if it had to. I
Yep.
guess. And Dave, is there a west elevation? I was
Oh,
curious.
yes, A 3.13.
Yeah, west elevation of how your terrace.
Right there.
Okay. All
And then
right.
I put the pool equipment underneath that mid-level terrace, so that's not seen or heard out on the land. And there's a little side exit, no gate, just off, step into the land, and then you get on a pathway and you can go north and south.
That's fine. And then on your details, I didn't see your molding. That's a plaster molding around.
Yes, A 6.0, please.
I didn't see that built up molding there on your.
Yeah,
Or
that matters. How about the next sheet?
8, 13, and 12.
Where are you? Where are you?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And no chimney cap. You didn't have a chimney cap detail, did you?
No.
That's all. Thanks.
Robert, questions, please.
No questions.
Materials, where's the,
A 0.2.
zoom in on that, please?
Inspiring photos are there in that upper cluster, and then here, or
So no paint, it's just a stucco finish,
with an integral color,
integral color, yeah.
smooth trowel finish.
Okay,
You can zoom in more if you want to see.
thank you. Public comment, is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 2, 756 Hot Springs Road, please?
No requests.
Okay, we are on for preliminary final. Bill's identified a couple of details that need to be done. Let's go back through the same list. Where are people at with preliminary final, please? Tip.
You know, I'm fine with the project, with the design, the materials, the selection, and the finishes, and I'm still have a concern with the 2 accesses, and things is coming out to something pretty tight. So it's just my opinion, but I prefer to only have one gate coming in and out of the property. Thank you.
Dave, comments, please.
Yeah, I can support the project as it's proposed.
Rob,
Could we go to, there was an elevation in there. Yeah, it was an architectural elevation. There's just some, it's minor
A311.
stuff. I think it's that, go back to that one. I think it's from where you were before. It's improved immensely, and I don't quite remember all the details of it, but the whole what you've done feels so significantly better, and at many levels. Minor comments. I mean, to some extent, I agree with Tip on the one curb cut. And I think when you have a chance, I think the nature of the architecture, that the walls, when you can, should be level and then step down as opposed to being sloped. When I see that, that's like minor detail. And then one minor detail on the plan view.
You mean the retaining wall there in
When you
stone?
have some of your site walls, they're
Yeah,
in some
keep it
cases,
level.
they're angling down and sloping down. If I think they're more successful with the architecture if they step down. I think it's more in keeping
Okay.
with the rest of the design. And there was one, maybe the plan view. By the way, I can't read your site plan. I mean, if it wasn't for the civil and the landscape plan, I can't tell where the driveway is. It's just you've got some super faint blue line in there, and the contours dominate. So it's really hard to read from that standpoint. But um, there's a plan view, maybe, David. And maybe it's the
A1.1.
landscape plan. Yeah, right there is good. Actually, the civil's good.
Okay.
Go back one more. Yeah, it's super minor. I mean, things like that, and maybe that goes hand in hand with what Tip. It's just thing that bothers me is that the driveway, when you have a chance to kind of square it off parallel with the face of the house, it's so close that see if you can do that and then let it kind of curve at the end. But and I think that would be solved again if you had the one curb cut. I think you would find that there's a lot of good things that come out of that. But I think I support the project and think you folks have improved it immensely.
Bill, comments, please.
Yeah, Diane, I appreciate you going to the effort of making the changes. It looks a lot better. I like what you got going. I can support what you've got here, and I'm still, the one driveway getting out of there. I'm a little worried that you got a lot of obstacles. I wouldn't want the owner to be backing into something over there. So anyway, just if there was a way to line that, drop that gate down a little bit and give them a little more clearance, it might work a little better. Anyway, that's not a criteria.
That can be done.
Yeah, and well, we'll make a motion later about how we can approach this. in terms of the details, I'd be happy to look at those after, the planner could send them to me, so.
Robert, comments?
In general, great improvement. While Bill is perusing the details, the only architectural thing that kind of seems out of character is that trellis. Seems very wispy. I would beef up the posts and the overhead when you provide some more detailing. If I I don't know if they're 6x6s or
The trellis on the balcony,
yeah,
A 3.12, please. They're 8x8 posts.
there are 8x8.
Yep.
They seem thin in the drawing
They're probably tall.
Yes,
because
because they're
so
tall. I drop could drop it a foot, but I want it aligned with the awnings.
right.
I could drop it a foot though. Would that be better?
Well, yeah,
Have
or
chamfers on them too.
maybe you could put a second corbel,
Tier of beams.
well, a corbel on top of the post and then the top row. I don't know. I wonder if that really is 8x8 if you were to scale your CAD drawing. It doesn't look like 8x to me, but
They're tall, buddy.
yeah.
I wanted it to be meatier too, so 8x8s with 8x beams.
Okay.
Is that it, Rob?
That's it.
Okay, I'm hearing easy preliminary, and maybe, do we really want to see this again? Are these things that are out there, or are they just kind of little comments? What? You would like to see a couple of things done? Because I'm okay with the project as it is.
I mean, I could approve if the planner wanted to send me the details to review, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, so which exact details?
Chimney cap, your window and head jam and sill. And that's,
We have window, head jam, and sill if you want to.
well, but you didn't have the molding the way you showed.
Yeah, okay.
trimmed. You have a trim around yours. and you're
Surround,
going
yeah,
down the
okay.
detail.
Level walls, or are you not in agreement with that?
I
Oh,
think it's 6 of 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
Right.
So I'm hearing just 2 or 3 architectural details.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds to me like preliminary, final, with a few comments with the planner, and Bill. Okay,
Great, thank you.
so I'd like to make a motion for preliminary and final approval as submitted, with the applicant to provide chimney cap, window,
Head jam and sill
head jam and sill
details.
details.
She has that already. Yeah.
Okay, to be reviewed by the planner in consultation with Bill Wolf. Is there a second?
David Billisbach. David, the other
Oh, your
David.
planner, yeah, whoever that
Yeah,
is.
whoever the planner is.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, work through David.
Yes, you
And then
submitted
he'll-
to David
He'll
Wolf.
send them to me.
Does anybody else need?
Nope, just David. Just Bill.
Bill, okay.
Okay, is there is a second.
Second it.
All those in favor, please.
Aye.
All those opposed?
We get public.
Thank you so much.
I know it's been a long haul. Thank you. I think this board is very appreciative of the effort.
Thank you, board. I appreciate your effort as well, and the project's improved over time. So it was good to see that take shape, and I learned a lot. Thank you.
Thank you for all your help.
Item number 3. What? Yeah, 5-minute break, please. It's only 2 items, but man, they were long. Okay, so we're back. Item number 3, 979 Chelham Way. So let's go through the comments quickly. Tell us what you did and let's try to move on. Restudy options to diminish wall height on front elevations. Provide documentation demonstrating that the tall walls will not be visible from the adjacent roadway. I assume that's Chelham. Provide additional information on landscape and privacy screening, particularly in the area of setback encroachment. Document perimeter landscape screening. 2 members of the MBAR felt like the design was not going in the right direction. Roof design and fenestration. Study roof form options. Consider alternative solutions, designs, such as a curved glulam beam. So, Michael?
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead.
All right. Well, let's get started. David, if you could go to page 11, you can start with the front facade. So, Bill, I think this was your comment about adding clerestories onto the pop out on detail 2. And we took a look at it, and it looks great. Clients love it. I think it makes it feel a little more residential. And just, yeah, kind of brought the facade to life. So that was our revision there. And then if we can skip to page 18, we can walk through, the visibility from the street. So on the bottom right is a little key legend. So I walked the street and took a series of photos. So David, if you zoom in on the top right, view number 1, you can just make out the chimney through the existing screening. But this house is really well hidden by the palms and oleander and other existing vegetation. So if you just scroll left, that's me walking down the road and keep going. And then there is a moment where you do see the roof. And so that little odd angled roof on the garage, I'm not sure why it was put there, but that'll go away. So we're cleaning that up. And if you go to the render below, this is what you see from the street. So given that the pop outs are about 25 feet back from the gutter, and the fact that the driveway dips down and the road drops off as well, it's not super visible, but I think, when it is, it'll look a lot nicer with the windows added. Okay, so let's move to the rear yard. That's sheet 17. So let's start on the top right photo. So as we look to the east here, there's substantial growth. Basically, the neighbors can't see each other. It's very well established, and it just continues to wrap around. If you could scroll left, David. This is a view from the house. These big hedges, maybe 13 feet tall or so, continue. And then we hit the corner and they continue to wrap. And there's one little window of the neighbor's house that I'm assuming is maybe a toilet room or shower. So it really feels extremely private back there. Yeah, so that's, just to address the question of the privacy. So if we zoom out a little bit and look at the renders, just to refresh, these are the 2 volumes that we're adding onto the house. And so I know there was a question about the roof shapes, and I think the best way to look at this would be to go to page 12. Okay, so if you zoom into detail 4 in the bottom right, a little more to the right. Sorry, page right. Yeah, there we go. So I put a 6-foot figure in just to give a little bit of scale. I know it's hard with the drawings to sometimes see how big this volume starts to be. So the high point is at 13.7. And we did revisit, Robert, I believe you weren't very happy with the sloped roof and wanted us to look again at the flat roof. And we went back to it. And what starts to happen is if you look at that datum line from the top of new roof and as it extends out, it just creates such an imposing wall. And as we start to do it on both sides, this little sitting area becomes, gets a lot less light and just starts to feel like you're more in a canyon. And the thing about this house is it's quite small. Counting the garage, right? Like I think it's 1,100 square feet. And so the scale felt really important to kind of minimize that, which is why the clients and myself, we still felt it was much more successful to have the roof taper down. It allows a lot more light in, and when you're in the backyard where you're hanging out at the pool with the kids and gathering with friends, it just fits the scale of the sort of bungalow. All right, so let's go to page 15. So on the top here are just a couple images that the clients gave us early on to help give a sense of the vibe they were going for. And that one on the far left is really what we've been working with. So it's a little bungalow feel, keeping the board and batten, having the standing seam roof, which is very visible from the backyard, where the family anticipates spending a lot of time. So something a little more aesthetically pleasing to look at than the current kind of torch down flat roof. We've got this little counter with the windows that open up that you see on the right. Yeah, so it's a little bit of the aesthetic, and that's the pergola and dining area that we're replicating on our design. And then, David, if you could just zoom out again. I did include a couple renders of the interior. I find the tension between the outside and the inside is quite a bit on this project. We're trying to fit a lot in a small footprint. And from the front of the house to the back of the house in these two views is only 20 feet. And so having these bifold doors and an area that the family can gather in outside between the two pop outs, which with the sloped roof, you can see still allows quite a bit more sun to come in, was really a driving factor. But the intent is to be sort of it's a family home. It's have some charm, have some nice detail on the inside, and not trying to go too big architecturally on the exterior. And then the last thing I want to touch on was sheet 16. So I know there were a couple comments about there was maybe a missed opportunity by not having the flat roof. So I did want to share what we're doing in the primary and the pop out. So if you can zoom in on that detail number 1, we're taking advantage of this 13-foot roof, and we're doing like a giant skylight, and we're gonna have this fireplace that floats up into it. And so you get this really nice wash of light as it comes down the curved sheetrock. And then to make it feel a little more residential, we dropped it down to, I think it's 9'6" there. That also gave us the attic space to run ducts, put air handler units, and make the home function. And then it also gave us an opportunity to play with the slope ceiling in the primary bathroom. And we're really happy with how that's turned out with the transoms, these doors that open out to the patio area, bath that the kids can get in and out of, and basically just trying to make the home feel bigger by having opportunities to connect interior spaces with the exterior. And that's it.
That's it. Good. Questions? Rob,
I don't have any questions.
Bill,
The trellis that you have, I know you haven't detailed it yet, but do you think you'll have main beams and then purlins on top of that? So for maybe a little more shade than you've shown.
Yeah, let's go to sheet 7, please. You could zoom in on that detail 3, David, the little render.
Is that the amount you think of shade you want to provide, or you think
It's
your
a good
image needs
question.
a little more coverage? Not a
Yeah,
something to think about.
yeah, absolutely. It was giving us an opportunity to hang a light, and I think I feel like it's one of these things where it gives the homeowners could add like a retractable shade down the road. I think that's going to evolve a little bit organically, but it's been really hot this summer, and I think the shade would have. Your point's well taken. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Thanks.
Robert,
No questions.
Tip, Dave,
No questions.
and I have no questions. Public, we're on for preliminary. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 3, 979 Chelm? It's actually Chelm Way, please.
No requests.
Okay, so as I said, we're on for preliminary comments. Rob,
Is there any landscaping required for this or associated with this?
No, we do have. Let's go to the site plan on page 2. If you could zoom in on detail 2 on the backyard, David, please. We have a very light touch to answer your question, but before I had sort of a rough block of like hardscape, and so we do have 2 curved low site walls, and we're specking flagstones over a mortar bed. Of course, we go to drains and push the water away, but we're not touching the backyard and we're not touching the front yard.
Okay, I'm fine with the project as submitted.
Bill, comments, please.
Yeah, I'm fine as submitted.
Robert, please, comments.
I support the project.
Tip, comments, please.
I'm fine with the project.
Dave, comments, please.
I think it's a very nice project. I support it.
So we're on for preliminary. You'll come back to the consent calendar, I assume.
Yep.
On final. The roofing material you have looks shiny. We only accept a matte finish, so
Yeah, I only want a matte finish, completely aligned. I don't want any reflection. It's going to be visible in the yard, so.
so who would like to make a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to grant preliminary approval for the applicant to return for final on consent with all the required details.
Is there a second, please?
It maybe add the matte finish to that.
He knows.
Okay, okay, okay.
Or, yeah.
And if not, he'll get turned down.
I'll be very upset as well. No, I have a sample in my office. It's extremely matte. I'm with you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Item number 4. No, it's like that. Item number 4, 1428 East Valley Road. We're on for prelim final. Restudy roof line. Consider adding gable roof to garage to match existing single-family dwelling. Document existing landscaping, particularly along property lines. Demonstrate that there's adequate screening of the structure. Consider options to reduce hardscape. Resolve issues with easement. I believe that's to the west, if I remember right. So, floor is yours.
Yes, I'm Ray Hicks, and I'm the owner and the architect on the project. Let me first address the existing condition. It's kind of unusual here, just so there's no confusion. The existing house was built in about 1980, and the owner put in the 3 foundations and the slab for this garage. So there's the existing garage, then the existing drive, and the existing slab. So that's all in place. Doesn't give much opportunity to change the locations of the walls. So let's go to A100 site plan. You can see the 3 walls and the slab. The project is in fact just 3 walls and a roof, nothing else, no change to any hardscape. And no change to the driveway, no grading, no planting. So if we go to, let's see, sheet A101, and look at the photos 17 through 23, that'll explain the existing condition better there. You can see the existing foundations, existing walls. I'll go back to the screening after that, but so the first item was restudy the roof line. And I looked really hard at this roof line. We should probably go to sheet A104. Easiest to look at the west elevation there. You can see the new garage sitting next up against the existing garage. Some ideas were kicked around at the last meeting of possible sloped roofs. Looked really hard at that. It just doesn't work. Putting any sort of sloped roof on that puts a ridge line above the existing garage. It just looks out of place. In addition to that, it creates more mass, and from both the side and the front, you're getting additional roof mass. It just didn't work for me. In addition to that, from the front, that would be the south elevation. It would create a sloped roof element on the end of the garage, which just didn't match. I mean, of course, the existing house does have a sloped roof, but it looked completely out of place there. So the proposed solution is just to have a flat roof there. I've lowered the roof as much as possible. And I've got a sloped small tile roof that matches the existing condition there. And I've also matched the existing 4x6 timber bracket that holds that up. So that condition softens it a little bit. Another thing that I'd really like to get are photovoltaic cells on the roof of this garage. So the sloped roof doesn't really work very well for that. You got a sheet A101, photo 12. That'll show you that existing overhang and existing timber bracket that I'm matching. On to that detail with the timber and the bracket. The intent is to train a vine over that. That'll soften that south elevation a little bit. That same vine is going to get trained over the existing garage, over that beam and bracket as well. Going on to the other item, which was document the existing landscaping, particularly along the property lines, demonstrate that there's adequate screening of the structure. So let's go to A100 site plan. The existing condition right now has a 12-foot hedge that goes completely around the entire property. And so from the street, you just can't see the garage at all. If you go down that side lane, it's still a 12-foot high hedge. That continues all the way down. There's even a second layer of hedge that if you look at on the site plan between the sort of adjacent to the driveway, there's another hedge that goes. So there's a second 12-foot hedge that blocks sight from East Valley Road there. So it's almost impossible to see this addition. If you look at the photos on sheet A101, those 21 through 30. You can get a good idea of the height of that hedge and how thick it is. Photo 25 is from the side lane. Virtually, there's no way to see the addition there. Walking around to say photo 28, that's East Valley Road. There's the gate, then the other 12-foot high hedge. So no way you'll see it that way. So going on to reducing the hardscape. That's tricky. I may not have explained it well in the last meeting, but the existing driveway is there and the existing slab's there. The only way to reduce the hardscape would be to actually jackhammer out, and you couldn't do that because that would eliminate the access to that location. So there's virtually no way to reduce the hardscape. Of course, we're not adding any hardscape either. So going on to materials, that would be sheet A101, photos 31 through 34. On that sloped small tile roof overhang, those will just be existing tiles that were removed from the house on another location. So they're going to match the house. Photo or image 32 is the paint color, which is the existing green trim, the existing white body color. The roof membrane is just a flat roof there, full of stone. It doesn't show, of course, because of the parapets. And the proposed window frame color is image 34. It's just matching existing. That's really all I've got. As I said before, it's the three walls. There's no way for me to move the three walls. And the roof, which I think is best to be flat. That's all I've got.
Questions, Dave?
No questions.
Bill?
Details, did you
We're on for,
final, preliminary final?
yeah, we are on for final.
Do you have details or not?
Well, there's almost none except the
Roof even, or the parapet, right?
the parapet step out, which is, well, it shows up in image number 14. It's just a 2-inch step out, called out on the plan as a 2-inch step out. It's just a 90-degree step out, then a 90-degree step out.
And your corbel to match, I guess, huh?
Yeah, that shows up on the plan.
Right.
The
That's
detail
all.
at the top of the cornice is existing. At the existing garage, it's also existing all the way around the fences. It's existing on the house. I mean, I wouldn't have been my first choice, but it would look funny to not match it.
Questions, Robert? You were done, right? Yeah.
No questions.
Rob?
No questions.
Deb?
No questions.
And I have no questions. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 4, 1428 East Valley Road, please?
No requests.
Okay, as I said, we are on for preliminary final. I think I said that. Comments, Dave?
Yeah, I think the project is well screened and not visible from the street. The neighbors, it's modest in size and consistent with what's there, so I can support it.
Bill, comments?
Yeah, I can support this as submitted for preliminary.
And final. So are you okay with final?
Well, I think we'd need to see those details, but
Okay, very good. Robert, comments?
Yes, I support it. I believe the flat roofs, Rob talks about hierarchy a lot, so these are subservient spaces to the main house, so I think that works fine. I think it's a good project.
Rob, comments, please.
Probably because I don't think that I will cost you approval. I kind of go the other way. I think you were asked the last time was that far garage on the left was basically to be brought forward, and then you would enter to the left, so you would double load it, you get rid of a bunch of paving. So it's obviously a question of dollars and cents. So, and I appreciate that completely. So, and understand that's probably where you're coming from. So, I mean, I think there's too much paving there. The right way to do it, I guess, is there's too much paving there, and you would pull the paving out and you would move that farthest garage forward. and turn it to the side, and then you would double load the access into those both spaces, which would kind of scale everything in, reduce the paving. Or the other way to solve that is, in my mind, is not to have the flat roofs, but to have actually more architecture that kind of is more of a terminus, like the right side has some interesting roofs and all that, and then you just kind of go to nothing on the left, where I think there you need to at least, if you're not going to pull the paving out, that the roof should at least be kind of act as if they kind of close that space architecturally. So I'm not really, and because I don't think I'll cost you, I don't really support this myself. So thank you.
Chip, comments?
I'm fine with the project. Thank you.
Yeah, I have no comments. So you're going to vote against it? Okay. So Bill, since you had a couple of details you wanted to see, you want to make the motion?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll we could do it the same way we did the last one too. So I motion to grant this preliminary and final approval with the applicant to return to the planner with the details for the roof parapet to match and the corbelled roof eyebrow. And a simple door header would be fine.
There a second to that, please?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Opposed?
Okay, thank you. Item number 5, 525 San Ysidro Road. MBAR members cannot support design or size of signage. Provide information, height of sign and lettering on the signage for other businesses on the site. Design signage to be compatible with existing on-site signage. Study other design options on locations below the gable, reduce size, height, attach metal mounts at the grout joints, and attach metal letters. And I think, oh, yeah, that was it. So is there somebody here representing this project, please?
Yes. Hi, my name is Memo from Santa Barbara Science and Goleta Science, and we have Franco here with Santa Barbara Science and Goleta Science.
Okay. You
Hi.
want to show us what you did?
Of course. So let's go ahead and move to page 2. So currently, the initial size of the positioning of the sign, it was initially submitted as the sign right above the main entrance arch. However, we were receptive to the board's opinions, and we've decided to attach the main signage into the heave of the building in order to prevent any damage to the existing architectural building, and therefore we can leave the architectural style of that building as is.
Without drilling any holes on the wall.
Next page, please.
Okay, so we will be showing you for the example of the 3D letters. We still are working within Sintra letters. However, I
With the
put in a
backer.
sample in there for you guys to see the finish and the smoothness of what Sintra can achieve, especially if it's gonna be at the Pantone color black.
Wooden back.
The size of the sign did get reduced to the height of 12 inches. Before it was 18 by 80, so now the sign is a bit smaller, and we will be using the steel eye hooks as seen there and the steel chains to attach from the signage onto the heave. Next page.
Next, please.
So that's a rendering of what the signage would look like following some of the other signage within that area. It seems like the building that Wunderkind is in is a little bit taller for that main attraction. So the owner did want it, I apologize, the client did want the signage to be above the entrance. So I believe a good middle ground would be to attach it to the above heave and letting that tower stand out. Next.
Is that it, please?
And then there's the mounting samples within that area that they use the same mounting samples that we're proposing. And that is all I have for you.
Thank you very much. Questions, Bill, please.
What are the little letters that say Montecito? Are they going to be pin registered too, relieved 3D, or are they just decals on the wood?
The smaller letters,
That's digital print.
that will be a digital print. So within that, the Montecito, there would be a digital print.
So marine wood.
On marine wood.
Okay, thank you.
Tip, questions, please.
No questions.
Rob, questions?
Can we go back to the elevation and do we have the previous submittal, I guess, or? I don't know. What was?
Or the
Previous
Was it pin mounted lettering or what did we?
Yeah, I think.
The previous was underneath the window, drilled inside the brick, the cement from the side there, drill it against the wall, and
Okay.
we just follow the neighbors the way they have it, so that's what we did.
So, and then could you go to the actual picture? Just one quick question, I think. To there was a yeah. So did you look at, there's that piece of stone in there and maybe that's a far more expensive solution. Did you look at engraving that and painting it black, that wonder? No, you wouldn't do that?
Oh, no, the stone stays there. What do you mean? What is this?
What's the next guy?
Engraving it with the stone.
What's the next guy?
No.
Okay, oh, good point. Yep, thank you. All right, thank you.
Robert, questions?
No questions.
Dave, questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure on the dimensions, you're showing 53 by 12, but on the description, you're showing 80 by 18. Just wanted to.
Correct. I left that in so we can, you guys can see that we did change the size and are receptive to what the previous meeting was suggesting.
Okay, thanks.
And I have no questions. Public comment, we are on for preliminary final. Item number 525 San Ysidro Road, please. Anybody?
No requests.
Comments, Bill?
Do you want me to make a motion on this?
I think that the motion should include the revision of the 80 by 18.
That's what I was gonna do.
Yeah, okay. Is everybody okay?
Yes, good.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve this for preliminary, or is it preliminary and final?
Preliminary.
Preliminary and final for the sign to be 12 inches high by 53 inches long
In all places on the documentation.
in all places on the documentation.
Is there a second, please?
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you, gentlemen. Is there a
Thank you so
motion?
much. I appreciate it. You guys have a good weekend.
And you too now. Is there
Motion to
motion
adjourn.
for approval?
I move to adjourn
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at.
September 18th.
Yeah, September 18th. Is there a
2025.
second, please.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Robert?